Okay, well, so good morning. My name is Craig Blanchette, and it's a pleasure to be one of your hosts for this boot camp with work group sessions. And this is our first. This is actually our fourth boot camp that we've done with Troy and Brian Drollinger and myself, and this one is going to be extended a little bit out to 6 weeks because we've added a couple of key components that I think you guys will get some great value out of. Just to kind of go over the basics, we are going to be meeting on Saturdays at 7 a.m. So for those of you that are here, you nailed it. Directly following this training, we are going to do a practice session. And so what we find is that when someone is taught a skill, like I can tell you how to tie your shoes, but if I tell you and then I do it with you, the likelihood that the skill sticks is exponentially greater. And so with all of our boot camps, we have practice sessions where we put the skill into practice. So we're going to have an hour-long training on Saturday mornings, followed by an hour-long activity session where we actually practice. And for those of us that are very kinesthetic and then we need to do the thing in order to learn it, these trainings work really well for that. Then for those of you that want even more practice, or maybe you can't stay for that second hour on Saturdays, Tuesday mornings at 7, we're going to be doing an encore practice session for those that want to really practice and hone their skills. And so I want to introduce and bring on Troy, kind of my partner in health. I was going to say in crime.
In crime. No, it is crime.
Yeah. So welcome.
There's a lot of crime going on. Good morning, everybody. How are we this morning? So just like Craig was saying, this 6-week boot camp that we have going is you want to be present. One thing is this morning, as we kind of look at that, have a pen with paper out. And I know that a lot of us don't use that, but this morning you're going to need that because we're going to go over a few things. So as we kind of look at starting this boot camp, one thing is, just like Craig was saying earlier, about 5-6 minutes ago, is that if your team members are not on, make sure they're on and wake them up, because it's important to be present in this boot camp. We go over a lot of basic things, but a lot of things that people, I should say coaches, are not, catching. So let's make sure that we're all present and here. And I know it's a little early for some of you, but I think it'll be a great morning. Brian, you got anything to add this morning? Because I know you're on too.
Let me unmute him. There you go, Brian. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
We've got like a quad or a trifecta Drollinger today. Super excited about that.
Hey, Dad. So, so no, I'm excited about being on this morning, and like always, there's always something that hectic that happens in the mornings at our house. Like my kids get up like 2 minutes before the call's ready to start, and start screaming, and so I have to go get them and take them, put them on my bed, so they stop.
Yep.
Like that. But it doesn't stop me from getting on. So no, I'm excited about the boot camp. I think these are great, and I think these are a lot of the skills that people need moving forward. So what's nice is this is for all coaches, not just for seasoned coaches, or it's for new coaches, because a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about, that Craig and myself and Troy went over yesterday, are basics to our business, things that every one of us need to do, those that have been around for a while, like myself and my dad, or those that have that may be just joining us right now. Mm-hmm. So excited about that, and I'm excited for a little break. I mean, I've been doing the Idaho State Fair for the past week, and For some reason, my neck's a little kinked this morning. I've been talking to a lot of people, But what's interesting about that is I wanted to get back engaged more. So especially after convention and after the rebranding with Optavia, and what I'm finding is it's really fun, and there's a lot of people that are wanting what we have, and they just don't know where to find it. So it's our job to get the word out there, and to let them know that it exists, that there's something out there that really is special, that can help a lot of people out in their lives, in all areas of their lives. So excited to be here today, Craig.
Great. Awesome. Thanks. So I want to give you guys just a little short lesson on taking notes. What I've done over the years is I purchased these little composition books, that if you buy them during back to school, you can get a college ruled composition book for 50 cents, right? And so you can get a stack of these. And I like them because they're, the composition books are all the same size. And I have them going back 10 years, I think, maybe 15 years. And what I'll do on my composition book is it sits right in front of my keyboard, and I like to write things down, because even though I love electronics, the art of writing something down helps it to stick in your brain a little bit better. And then if it's sitting in front of you, every time I look down at my keyboard, I see my notes and my to-dos and little things that come along, and I don't have to open. The problem with electronic notes is they're not there unless you click it, right? And so it could be buried down somewhere, and if your to-do list is somewhere that's not right in front of you, you might not get it done. But what I'll do is I'll write down things. Sometimes I'll get a phone call while I'm doing something else. So you just write down, call so-and-so, and I usually put a little box next to it, and a checkbox, if you will. And then when it's done, I get to check that off, and that does a couple of things. It tells me I did it, but it also gives me a little reward for checking that box. And then if it's just a note, it's like sometimes I'll be talking with a client and I'll think of a creative Facebook video or a post on Facebook or some way of talking about a concept. And I just put a little box, and next to it, I put a V in there. And because that means video to me. And then if I have something that, like, somebody mentions a good book, I'll put a B in that box, right? Because that's a book I want to buy. And then I'll go through and check things off as I go through my day. And then, usually I'll compile notes over the past 2 or 3 days, and all the check boxes that weren't checked, I'll move them forward to the current day. And that works really well for me. And then when I'm in a training, I take that book, I turn it over the other way, and I start from the other side. And so when I'm in a training and I just want to take general notes, I'll title it the title of the training and the date, and then I'll just take my notes for training, because they're not day-to-day sort of gotta-dos and this and that and just kind of random sketch pads, but they're more condensed versions. And that way you can use one composition book and technically have 2 notepads, two separate things. And so that's what works really well for me. And then occasionally when I'm taking notes and it really stands out above the rest of the notes, I'll put a little star or an asterisk next to it. And so then I can easily go through and pull out my stars and pull out my check boxes and see things. So that's how I've been doing notes. I'm my brain is turning from Velcro to Teflon, and sometimes you'll get some information in there and it just doesn't have anywhere to stick, and so it just slips right on out. And so when you write it down and when you do some of these activities, it helps things to stick in your brain, so that you can draw on that resource in the future. So, all right. So there's just a little sidebar on a particular way of taking notes. So we're going to start off with this for today. The topic for today is all about creating lists. And one of the things with a list anything that's important, or anything like if you're going to go grocery shopping, or if you're going to have some things you want to get done for the weekend, or you're going Christmas shopping. There's a lot of reasons why you want to do a list. And so lists are things you write down so you don't forget, because our brains can only handle about 2 or 3 things, maintain about 2 or 3 things. My wife, when she calls me and says, can you get some groceries? If she has 1 thing, I can get it. 2 things, pretty much. If it's 3 or more, good luck. I all of a sudden lose all 3 of them, and I go to the store and I'm like, what am I here for? And so having a list is really important, because especially if the things on the list you don't want to forget. And people are so much more valuable than things, if you think about it. Buying a box of cereal versus making a relationship with another human being, that's very, very different. And people are way more important than things. And so we want to make sure that we write down the important things, and people are that. So when we start working on a list, the value of writing a list with people's names on it is you can refer back to it very easily when your mind's not in that rhythm, and you can say, oh yeah, that's right, Bob and Jane and Susie, and oh, that's right, yeah. And so have your list in a place that's convenient and that's handy, and that you can add new names to it regularly. And then oftentimes what I'll do is I can sort the list. So maybe I'm doing an event that has something to do with a local thing. Well, I'm going to sort the people out that are local from the people that aren't local. As people that live in Georgia aren't going to make it to my barbecue, and so anyway, this is just a little idea of why we create lists, and the idea of having a master list is what we're going to be talking about today. So what we want to do is start off, and I want you all to grab a piece of paper. Hopefully you have maybe a composition pad in front of you, and grab something, pencil or pen, to write with. So I'm going to give you just hopefully everybody's got one of those nice and handy. And we're going to give a 2-minute exercise. And so I'm going to give you a simple set of directions as to what to do. And then we'll give you that 2 minutes and let you guys get after it. And then we'll do a little bit of dialogue afterwards. So get my timer out here. And then we're going to go with 2 minutes. And actually, we're just going to probably do 1 minute. So what I want you to do with that piece of paper is I want to have you think about the people that you know, and then write their names down. And you've got 1 minute to write down at least 10 people that you know. All ready? Ready? Go.
And no pressure here, right, Craig? No pressure.
Well, I mean, whatever pressure you want. I mean, it's just writing down names. You're not solving math problems. I guess you got to count to 10. If you get more than 10, go for it, right?
Yep, more than 10. If you get 20, then that means you can write really good and think really well.
Mm-hmm. Halfway there. All right. So there is your that is your 1 minute. So now that you have those 10 names written down, probably there's one thing at least that's in common with all those names. You know them, right? That's probably the first thing that's common about that. But what I want to do here is, as as you go through that list, what I want to think, let's just call on a couple of you that, first of all, actually, here's another timeout. We want to teach you a valuable Zoom skill. And you've been doing this for years in normal life, raising your hand, right? Everybody show me with their hands. Can you raise your hand? Okay, see, look at all you guys, you're champs. Now you have a virtual hand or a digital hand. I know we're upgrading everybody today. And so if you go down on your Zoom console where it says participants, at the bottom of the participants window, you have things like mute and unmute, and you have something called raise hand. And so let's just go ahead and see. Let's try to get everybody to raise their hand right now. So if you're on a mobile device, I'm about to tell you how to do it. So for mobile users, you go down to the bottom of your window and you click more, and then there'll be an option that says raise hand. So it's a little bit trickier on a mobile device. Debbie, look at Debbie. She's driving and she's mobile and she's raising her hand. Champion. All right, so we got everybody. There's a few people. Let's see here. Troy, you
46, 49. I don't think I can.
Becky, Clark, Carolyn, Janet. Come on. Leroy, get your hand up, Leroy. Okay, we almost got everybody. This is a super valuable skill to have because we do lots of trainings. We do lots of trainings with Zoom, and it lets the host know when you have a question, and it cues people up when you're able to raise your hand. And so that's really good. So Janet, why don't you come off of mute, because there's a few people that can't find it. So we're just going to take a quick time out. And so Janet, are you there?
I am.
Okay. And so you on a computer or a phone?
Yeah, I'm on a computer and I have 3 people helping me find it. Nobody can find it.
Oh, you have too many people helping.
I know.
Send them out to mow the lawn. Have somebody get you a refreshing beverage. No, I'm just teasing. So at the bottom of your window, do you see where it says invite? There's one word that says invite.
Yes.
And the next word is participants.
Yeah, I see participants.
So click participants.
Okay.
And now at the bottom of that window, the very bottom, there should be 3 buttons.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Ding,
Thank
ding,
you.
It's, you know what? My pleasure. By the way, thank you for, she was a plant, and I told her, pretend like you're having trouble this morning so everybody else can learn. You nailed it. Nailed it.
All right.
All right. Anybody else having a challenge with that? I don't see a hand. So Carla, are you on a, go ahead and unmute yourself, Carla. Are you on a phone or a computer?
I'm on the computer and I just raised my hand.
Oh, you did. You got it.
Oh.
Okay. I just saw, I don't see a hand, but you got it. Okay. I think everybody's got it now. Veronica, looks like Veronica might be still, and Annette, Chris got a nice cup of coffee there. Well, way to go. So maybe some of you aren't raising your hands, or you put your hand down because you already know how to do it, but make sure that you learn how to raise your hand, because it's going to be a valuable, it's going to be super valuable for the future. So now I'm going to go ahead and put everybody's hands down, because that's the power of being the host. And I have nothing at participants. So yeah, when you open up participants, just right down to the bottom of a big window of participants, you'll see, should see 3 buttons, but I'll work with you, Linan, a little bit on that one-on-one, or Martin can help you too. So let me call on a couple people, because you have a list of names that are now in front of you. And so what I want to do, everybody hold up your list. You got your list there? Okay, let's get it. Yep, good job. Okay, so we're going to call on some people. Let's see here. Some people that are not driving. So Casey, we're not calling on you this morning. And let's see here. How about Lorraine? Lorraine, I'm going to unmute you. and tell me one thing that those people have, or why did you choose the names you choose? Tell me why you picked some of those people.
People that I think would like to get healthy.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by you like to get healthy?
A couple of them were people that actually were inactive clients that I know have been kind of talking about maybe doing it again. And so I've got those on the list. I've got a couple of people that I think, I should say that, I think that they could become healthy or maybe could use our program.
Okay.
I know we're not supposed to do that, but.
Thank you, Lorraine. Yep. Very perfect. All right, Steve, do you have your list going? Not sure I've met you yet. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, how you doing? I do.
So what was, name some of the reasons, some of the names and why you put their names down?
These are people that I'm closest to. I see most of the time. Most of them are part of my son's baseball team, which we're kind of like a baseball family. So they know me well. They know my struggles, my story, but maybe I haven't expressed it to them completely, or connected with them, and did that follow up. So these are people I could definitely probably start back with. So
the number one reason is they're people that you know, and they're part of something you do.
Right. They're probably the people that are closest to me in my life.
Closest to you in your life. Okay. All right. Thank you. Excellent. Let's call on somebody that I don't know. Glynis. Yeah. Hi. I'll unmute you. Can you just a little bit, by the way, thank you for the training opportunity, a little bit of camera awareness. If I was sitting across from you and there was a plant in front of us, you would be like, it would be like, ooh, I can't see you. Right now, your camera's, all I can see is but from your nose up.
Okay.
So if you can tilt your camera down, oh my goodness, look at that. Perfect. And then another
out of bed like you did.
is you have some, I believe it's the sun. I've heard of it, and I heard it's bright, but I believe the sun's outside the window behind you. So if you have a brighter light behind you than you do in front of you, then sometimes it can dim your face. So can you tilt your camera just to the left or to the right? Just twist your computer a little bit. Yep. Now move over. Yep. Do you see how much better that looks now?
Oh, there. Good. Yeah.
Yep. So we thank you again for the
and we like the picture of the flower too. That's nice.
Yeah. Look at the pretty flower.
The painting? Thanks.
Yeah. So we just taught you all how to be a little bit of camera awareness about making sure that we can see your face. When I built my office, I made sure that there was a window in front of me and a window on the side of me, because if I have a window behind me, then you can't, your face is shadowed. So another little bit of training. Those are bonuses. You don't have to pay extra for those today. So Glynis, tell us, did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, perfect. Tell me why you wrote some of the names down. How did you choose?
Several people I had as some of my first clients, and I think they're interested in getting back on program. And another couple I think would be good coaches, because they have the charismatic personalities of like people that I've seen, like yourself, and people are drawn to them. So I think I would like to get them involved, because I think they would be awesome and help a lot of people.
Excellent. Now, if there's someone here that's been coaching for less than 3 months, if you can raise your hand. Oh, okay. Is it Pilar? Pilar? I don't know how to say your name. I'll unmute you. Go ahead. How do you say your name?
Pilar.
Pilar. Very nice.
Pilar.
Very nice.
Pilar. And you even raised your hand. Bonus points. So tell me about your list.
I have my daughter
and a few family friends and people that I work with.
Okay. Now, was there anything that those people have in common, or why you chose their names to be on your list?
My daughter is very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a 23-year-old. She's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
that she can do whatever she wants to, right?
Right. Okay.
But she chooses not to be healthy. So my goal is to eventually show, I mean, I'm hoping that she will see the results and then she will want to do it for herself.
Yep. And so the people that, great, thank you. The people that you work with, why did their names come up on your list?
Because I have, I run a coach and I had signed up 3 people from work,
Mm-hmm.
and they see the transformation and they see the change. So I want to empower people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Around you. Okay.
and that I care for. And I have to thank my coach for from Michelle Jensen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Name dropping today. I see you. Okay. So anything else that they had in common?
Definitely they need to lose weight.
Okay.
Definitely
Right.
they need to lose weight.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So now just a little bit of, so here's what I want to just go back. Thank you all basically for being part of our training, because this is something that we all do. And I wanted to see you do it so you can realize that we all do this. So we have this term where we call, I think in the past it's been called fat goggles, right? So I'm going to put on my fat goggles, right? They're just shades. But so when the instructions that I gave all of you were to write down a list of 10 people that you know. That was the only criteria, that you know. I guess you can't write down people's names you don't know, but it was just write down people's names that you know. And one of the things that we do is we immediately grab our fat goggles and we look for people that are fat, because after all, we have a cool diet program, right? And so we put on our fat goggles because we want to help people lose weight, because we are an awesome weight loss company.
Hey, Craig, and one thing too, real quick.
Oh, hi, Troy. Welcome.
One thing too is that as the reason why a lot of you look at people that need to get healthy is that you came in to this program and it changed your health. So I wasn't one of those. I came in because I just wanted to help people. So we all kind of look at, and this is one thing I talk to my team a lot about, is that as you build your list, just think about people close to your heart at the beginning. And they could be as healthy as could be, but you know, that it's more just really about what people are wanting to create, because we don't know what they want to create, right? At the beginning, it's like, okay, if I have 10 people on the list and all 10 people are unhealthy, right? They all have something in common right there. Mm-hmm. But are we reaching out really to people that maybe want healthier finance, or maybe want a healthier mind? So we never want to prejudge people. And I know a lot of coaches come in and they prejudge people. Well, they can't afford it. Or, I mean, how many times have you heard that? So, you know, I kind of look at too, Craig, is that when coaches come in and they want to really grow their business and they really want to understand how to come up with a list, we want to take off the fat goggles. Mm-hmm. And we want to keep them off, because we want everybody's list. Mm-hmm. We don't want to really have that part to where we're sectioning out to where, okay, well, we're taking this person off the plate because they're healthy, because they know people that are unhealthy. Yeah. Remember, we got over 70% of us are either overweight or obese. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can really work on as we want to grow our business. So go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. So the whole key is if let's just say, would any of you put Troy on your list? Troy was never overweight. Well, yeah, some of you smart people would have put him on your list, right? But he wouldn't have been on my initial list because I had my I wouldn't even have seen him because I had my fat goggles on and I would have looked right past him. You know, think about, would any of you put David Miller on your list? Probably not, right? Think of all the people that have come into our company. You know, Sam and Harold Prestonbach, right? They're part of my team. I'm kind of part of their team now, right? They're part of this group of healthy folks, and they both, Sam and Harold, were fit as a whistle, if that's a term. And so, who would have put them on their list, right? So think about.
Craig.
Yeah.
Craig, is Brian.
Yeah, hi, Brian.
Get those fat goggles off, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
You know, one thing when I was writing down my list, and I think this comes with time with people, you know, like what you're saying, like when you first get involved, it's like a lot of us get, you know, we get healthy, they lose a little bit of weight. And so we're thinking about that. We're thinking about all the people that can lose weight. On my list, I was thinking about people with influence. Those are the people I wrote down. So I had a couple people out of my 10 that one lady has about 80 pounds to lose, but she has influence, meaning she just knows a lot of people. One guy has like, I think 40 pounds to lose. Like everyone else on the list was less than 10 pounds to lose. In fact, there was 3 on my list that I didn't know their names, but I was just at the fair. And at the fair, you know, people, you know, you can walk around, I mean, you can see people walking around all day that are just unhealthy, you know, and they're eating their elephant ear. You know, I mean, you know, it's kind of sad to see, but when people come up to me at the booth and they're talking to me, I'm looking for my next health coach. So everyone that I'm talking to, I'm kind of screening them. So the few leads that I got when I was actually there by myself, because when I was with my team, I was basically helping them get leads and helping them work with people. When I was by myself, there were a couple people that came up that I was like, this couple came up and they only had probably 10 pounds each to lose, not very much weight. But we started talking about health, and I didn't have a lot of time to talk to them, but I talked to them and asked them questions like, what do you do? You know, what's going on? You know, where do you live? What do you do? That kind of stuff. And I found out that they own 3 gas stations, and they have one other gas station that's going to be built here pretty soon. And I could just tell that they were people of influence.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you a question. As you're looking at those people, you could look and say, are these people going to be good for my business, or are Optavia going to be good for them? Right? And so as you're thinking about that, how was your thought process as you thought through, because we have something to offer them, they may have something to offer us. So can you talk through that a little bit?
Yeah. So you know, I'm looking. Obviously, I'm looking for people that want to be part of our mission, that are going to be beneficial to Optavia. Now, this doesn't mean I won't take on anybody. I'll take on anybody and work with anybody, but I'm looking for those people again with influence that can help other people out. I'm also looking for people that, you know, are happy, they're excited about life. You know, they're you can just tell that they you know, want more out of life, and they want to. And I'm also looking for people, obviously, that are caring, that want to help other people. So in this situation, I'm looking at them, and they both said, they said, well, we're on our way to a concert, but yeah, we want you to call us on Monday because we want to get started. So I'm just excited about giving them a call and starting them on Monday, and they only have a little bit of weight to lose, but I know that they can lead me to somebody. So another thing too, Craig, is I don't look at what people can do, you know, right off the bat. I don't look at them and say, well, hey, this is going to be my next presidential. What I look at is, who can this person lead me to? And that's a whole other topic. But really, who can this person lead me to? And can this obviously be beneficial to them, but also can it be beneficial to the mission?
Yeah, I love that. I love the whole idea there, is we have a lot to offer people, and we can give people a way to express their desire to help others. We can do that all day long. But what if one of the criteria that we looked at was, these people make Optavia better? Like, do we need their voice in what we're doing? Because they just have that, right? And so these are ways that we're talking about sorting your list. But if they're not on your list, they can't be sorted. And if you have your fat goggles on when you're making your list, these people that are high influencers and are wonderful people will never make the cut. They can't be sorted if they're not there, right? And so as you're looking at your list, the objective of the list is write down 10 people you know. Now, I don't know about you, but I probably would write down the people that I know the best first, because they're top of mind. And many of the people that I know best, I don't know if they want to lose weight. I don't even know anything. I just know them and I'm friends with them. They may be at a very healthy weight. They might be overweight. They might be, but the criteria of you making your list, and I want to reemphasize this, is write down people you know and sort after. If you pre-sort, most people that are champions and have a lot to offer will never make your list. So I'm going to bring on Troy, and here we're going to interview the master of lists and the man that's been sorting lists for years, Lonnie. So
yeah, great. Yeah, Craig, one thing is, as I kind of look at a list and different things, and we look at Optavia, and even when we were Take Shape for Life, my father, Lonnie, he kind of paved the way in this business, because he kind of started out and there wasn't a whole lot of coaches at that time when he became a coach. So there's been a lot of changes and a lot of things that have gone on, but one thing is he definitely has wisdom and ways to really create that list and sort it. So I'm going to have my dad kind of come on and talk about that. You there, Pops?
Okay, I'll talk. I thought I'd probably start out by asking everybody, have you ever trained a flea? Now, I've seen somebody had a cat there, so they might be training fleas and not know it, but have you ever trained a flea? There's one thing that a flea does. He's able to jump very high for his size. He can probably jump 3 or 4 feet for his size, so he can get on a dog or whatever. Well, if you take those fleas and you put them in a bottle and you put a lid on them, they have this tendency to jump, and they'll just come jump and hit that lid and hit that lid and hit that lid. And when they quit hitting the lid, you can take the lid off and they'll never go out of the bottle. Now, I wonder how many of us have a lid on us. We don't have any limitations. The only limitations we have are the 6 inches between our ears, or the limitations other people put on us. You can't do that. It's impossible for you to do that. And usually the ones that tell you that are your best friends. So here's what I believe. I believe that if you get a list and you work a list, the most people you can even work with is 20. That's me. Now, what I want you to do is I want you just to listen to what I say, and then I want you to utilize it in your life the way you think it should be utilized. I think there's only 4 kinds of people. The first ones are the ones that do. You know who they are. Sometimes you're scared to even talk to those people. They do. The second group of people can do. The third group of people should do. And the fourth group of people won't do. Now, what's interesting in this business is it seems like we go to the easy ones first, and guess which ones those are? Those are the ones that won't do. I did it, and I know what you're talking about, and they'll waste your time. So what I say is go to the people that do, because those that won't do, who's their best friends? Others that won't do. Those that do, who are their best friends? Those that do. You heard Brian say, you know, you look beyond the door. You know, you've got a friend, and they're the best friend in the world. But believe me when I tell you, when you talk to your friend's friend that doesn't know you and your friend introduces you, you become more valuable, and they'll listen to more things that you have to say than their friend will. That's interesting because that's the way it works. Whenever you get a referral, don't even write it down. Don't write their phone number down and all that stuff and then go see them unless you've been introduced to them. I had a good friend, and he had a big list, and that's why I went to see him. The first month that I was involved in this business, I seen over 300 people belly to belly. Now, I don't know if you need to do that, but I learned a lot. One thing that I learned is if you're going to
That was
What
classic.
happened to him?
Time for his internet to cut out. One thing I've learned is that
he'll come back in a minute. He'll come back in a minute.
Well, if you think so, one of the things that I just saw with Lonnie is that he couldn't sort them 1 through 4 if they weren't on the list. Right now, what were the 4 do's? Was it can do? Or
It was do first, and then can do.
Do, and then can do, and then should do, and then won't do.
Mm-hmm. Do, can do, should do, won't do. Yeah.
And can I share something really quick, Craig?
Who is that?
Christina Smith.
Oh, I couldn't see you because.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
There's enough people here I can hide. Anyways, working on it. That's a really good point, and I think a lot of the people on my list won't do people. And I think I need to reevaluate my master list and go back through and be like, I need to find those can do people and those do people.
Well, but you have to start with the list before you sort it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but I think I need to go back and sort it and actually categorize them in this way because I keep, like he was saying, those won't do people, it's a waste of time because they're not going to do it and their friends are not going to do it, you know? So if I find the people that will do it, their friends are going to do it because they're doing it and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, anyway.
Good insight. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think people are, nervous about is that they don't. Well, first of all, like my dad said, he says that the won't do people they're just easier to talk to for us.
Yeah.
Because we may be a can do or a should do, and the won't do is just like, hey, it's really simple to talk to them people, but the people that do the doing, maybe we think they're above us. And so
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by above us?
Like they're better than us, or they have more, or maybe we use the excuse, well, they don't have time, or they don't, or they have all the money they need right now, or they're doing really well, and we don't know any of that. We have no idea how they're doing until we talk to them. Because what I find is that people that are doers, a lot of them are looking for something to do, something that actually, they're looking to make a difference, and they're looking for opportunity, and they're always exploring, and they want something better because they're doers. They go after things, and we don't have any idea their situation. So sometimes we put those goggles on, the prejudging goggles, and we decide, it kind of blurs our vision a little bit because we think we know people and we really don't. And so sometimes we may be thinking of ourselves as a should-do person or something, and we don't want to talk to the do people because we're intimidated by them.
All right, Brian, Dad's back on, so let him kind of finish up.
Good.
Pops, you there? You there, Dad?
I'll unmute him. Yeah, finish out your thought.
I'm here.
There, Lonnie.
Go ahead, Dad. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up, Pops.
Can you hear it or not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. All right, so what I believe is that we can use a list of 20. Now, Craig, that was really a good experience when everybody wrote down their list of 10, but let's get 20 of those that do, 20 people that will do, and write them down. And then let's train the people underneath us to do the same thing. So let's say that a conversation that you're going to have with one of your coaches, you call up and say, get out your list of 20. They say, I don't have my list of 20. I say, call me when you do. I'm done with that conversation. Because if they bring out their list of 20, then I can help them. We can go through their list one by one, and I can let them know what my experience tells me about dealing with each one of them. Otherwise, you call up and you talk about one or two people, and you haven't done really very much. So if you had 20 people with 20, that's 400 people that you're working indirectly with, plus the 20, that's 420 people. One thing I know about this business, the rule of large numbers never lies. If you have large numbers, you'll always succeed.
Austin.
The other thing that I know is when you talk to people, talk to the ones that scare you the most. And you'll find out they're not anything that's really scary. It's like when you was a kid, you thought somebody was in the closet. You open up the closet, turn the light on, and there's nothing there. It's the same thing. People are people. And the scary ones are not really scary. They're just as human as you are, and they have feelings just like you do. And those are the ones you need to talk to. You need to talk to those people that have influence on other people. Mm-hmm. And then when they give you a name, then you can go see that person. And when you see that person, you'll be better than, you'll be able to do more than that person themselves. So that's why I think it's very important with a list of 20. Now think about this, Craig. If you had a list of 20 in your pocket all the time, and you read that list once or twice or 3 times a day, you know what happens when you read that list? It only takes you a few seconds to read the list, but in your brain is so fast and so quick that it will remind you of everything you know about each one of those individual people. And then the next thing that really happens is when you call that person, they may say, and I've had this happen many times, they said, I was just thinking about you. If they was thinking about you, they know that you have something of value to offer them. So I think that's very valuable. I mean, just to read a list. How long does it take you to read a list? And if you have that list with you, Craig, and you're calling one of your coaches, you say, get out your list. He gets out his list, and you talk about all 20 of those people. Is that beneficial to both of you?
Right. Yeah. Perfect.
I mean, it is. It's very beneficial to both of you.
Yep.
But I don't believe you can work with a list of more than 20.
Yeah.
Now well, think about this, Craig.
20. There are 20 doers.
Go ahead.
There are going to be 20 doers, but you might have a list to sort to 20. So you're going to create a list. Let's say that we start with the list and we get to 20, 30, or 40, or 50, and then we're going to sort to the doers. Right, we might have another list of number 2s. Can do.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know. Mm-hmm. The list of 20 is for your own sanity, because if you try to get 40 or 50 or 60, I've been down that road. It doesn't work. Here's what I say, Craig. If you was my coach, and I'm going to pick somebody underneath you that I'm going to work with. Now, you're not on my list. You're not my number 1 list. That person underneath you is my number 1 list. And then I go down and I get somebody underneath him, and I keep digging down there. So I'm taking one of your legs and helping you. Now, here's what I know. Since I'm an old Boy Scout, here's what I know about starting a fire. If I light a fire, I got to light it at the bottom. And everything up above is going to get hot. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do. I go down below you, and if I find a presidential down below you and they're doing something, you're either going to do something or you're going to give it up because you're going to get warm.
Yes.
Well,
Well, thank you.
that's your list of 20. Your 20 is only 20 people that you work with. Now, does that mean that I quit talking to you, Craig? Absolutely not. No, we're still friends and we still talk, and once in a while you call me and I give you advice and stuff. But the 20 people that I'm working with are the 20 people that I'm looking to make better coaches.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I keep going down. I'd go 20 down if I had to.
All right,
Find the
Pops.
right one.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time, Pops. Thanks for the insight and everything. That was awesome.
So we're so just to kind of recap there, we're going to talk a little bit about salting your list here in just a second. So in order to navigate or to sort your list down to your 20 that are number ones, right? The people that are the doers, right? You might start. When I'm talking about with your master list is, what if you have a list of people that you want to have that love to do outdoor activities with you? So you might sort that list to build relationships with the people that are close to you that like to go trail hiking. So you might have a bigger list to pull from that you can sort. But when you're actually looking at making deep investments one-on-one with people, you're going to go to those people that are the doers, right? And that is your list of 20. And like Lonnie said, if you are reading those names over and over and over again, multiple times a day, you are going to be thinking about them. Those are going to be those are your number ones. Those are your scared lists. Those are your people that are doers. And
Craig,
yeah, go ahead.
Craig, you said something very important. Those that you want to invest in. And what happens a lot of times is people will invest time in fours.
Mm.
And they will waste their time and waste their friends' time because nothing's going to happen. I've seen this happen 100 times before in the last 16.
Why do we go after or invest in the people that will never join you?
They're the easiest.
Tell me about easiest.
That we think they're the easiest. They're actually very hard. It's like it's like I go back to the fair again. There's a lady. There's people that came up to me, and I felt really bad for them. But I can tell when I'm talking to them that they're really not doers at all. I don't know if they're going to do anything. Now, does that mean I don't spend time with any of them? No, that's not what I'm saying. You want to help everyone, but you want to really help those that want to help themselves, because you can't help everyone. And I hear this time and time again, like, well, my family member, my friend, my daughter, my son, my mom, my dad, man, if they would just do something, it'd be so great, you know? And it's like, no, stop doing that to yourself. Mm-hmm. It's not your decision. It's their decision. Your job is just to get the information out, paint a picture of what's possible, and boom, let happen what happens.
You know, it's interesting because one thing, when people come to me and they say, I want to help so-and-so, they really need it. The first question I ask them is, do they want it?
Exactly.
And they say, well, no, not really. I can't help them. Just, you can inspire and you can live your life of healthy around them and let them awaken. But if they don't want it, if they don't have the will for wanting it, then all you can do is just live your life around them, invite them into community, and wait until they awaken.
And by the way, one more thing, people can lead you to people.
Yeah.
So, and there are some people that might be 3s or 4s that can lead you to 1s, because maybe those people are being helped by those 1s. Maybe the 1s are feeling like, man, I really need they want to help that person. So you never underestimate the power of one person to help you get to that other person that really wants to do it.
So thank you, guys.
Something real quick.
Well, we're right up at the top of the hour, and I got to talk about salt.
Okay.
So I'm sure what you have to say is so good, but I need to go to over salt so we can move into our work session. Is that reasonable? Good. So with your pen and paper, you're going to write down SALT. T. So once you have your master list, and then you can sort it, right? And then you're going to salt it. So you have to make it, sort it, salt it. And when you get to your ones and twos, specifically your ones, you're going to, S stands for start a conversation. So Lonnie was talking about picking up the phone and calling him. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's new in your life? Tell me about your family, right? Tell me about what's going on. So you start a conversation, S. A stands for ask questions, right? How's your family? What's going on? How you been? Do anything fun this summer? Hey, how you doing with your health goals? Are you killing it? You said you wanted to do this or that. I remember you talking about that marathon. Did you ever run that marathon? Then you listen. L is for listen. So start a conversation, ask questions, listen. And the T can go two different ways. You can either thank them, or if they have a need and want to know more information, you can tell them about how to get healthy. You can tell them, but you have to listen to what they want, and you have to ask lots of questions before you tell them anything. Start a conversation, ask questions, listen. You might even go back to asking more questions and more listening. And if what they want is what we have, like they want the color blue and you've got the color blue, then you're like, you know what? You said you wanted the color blue. I happen to have a whole box of color blue. Maybe we should talk about that. You want to know more about blue? I love blue, right? Start a conversation, ask questions, listen. Ask questions, listen. And then we either thank them if it's not the right time, or we tell them how to get from here to there, how to get to what they want. All right, so that's how you salt your list. And here's another acronym. It's called FORD. When you're asking questions, F stands for family. Ask them about their family. Don't ask them. By the way, weight is not on that list. There's no W in FORD. Right? So it's FORD, family, occupation. O stands for occupation. R is recreation. Family, occupation, recreation. And D stands for dreams and desires. Sometimes you only get to the F. You might have to salt them again later. Start another conversation. Maybe you get to their occupation. Hey, how's your job? What are you loving about it? I'm always wondering about people that are plumbers or roofers or whatever, right? Why do you do that? How did you get involved in that? Is your job turned into more of a paycheck, or is it still a passion? Paycheck versus passion, right? What if you could get both? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty passionate about coaching, about mentoring. So family, occupation, recreation, and dreams or desires, right? So you salt that list, and then you use your FORD acronym. I don't know about you, but I was never taught how to carry on good conversations, right? When I meet somebody at a party, so, how do you know so-and-so? Awkward, don't know what to say next, But if you always start, you're at a party and you're meeting some people, you say, hey, tell me, do you have, or maybe you start up a conversation, ask somebody about their family. If you go to somebody that you know from high school that you haven't seen in a year, hey, tell me, are you married? Tell me about you. Do you have kids? Tell me about that. People it's easy to talk about our family. It's a known quantity. So you warm them up a little bit. Hey, how about your job? Where do you work again? Now, how did you get into that? What do you love about it? What's something you love about it? What's something you wish was not there? One of my managers said this, I was in sales. He said, this job would be awesome if it wasn't for all the people. I was like, well, you wouldn't have a job though. But, people can be hard and people can be wonderful, right? And I think both sides teach us something. Occupation, recreation. Hey, what did you do last year? Did you do anything fun this year? When was the last time you went on vacation? Now that question leads to potentially, well, I haven't been on a vacation in years because I don't have one of the elements of the trilogy. My health is failing me. I don't have enough money, right? I haven't dreamt in a while. I just haven't gone anywhere in a while. Maybe they're not mentally as healthy as they could be. Occupation's a great one to talk about, or recreation is a great one to talk about. And then after you get to the listening, you decide whether you want to thank them. Hey, thanks for telling me that information. That was awesome. Or you want to tell them how you can help them to connect the dots. I don't like the word telling, but if you've done a lot of asking and a lot of listening, they're going to say, I have this need. And they're going to say, you want to do this with me? Right? So that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to break into our work group session. I'm going to stop the recording here, and so I can start the work group session recording. So don't go anywhere. Let's see here.